I just got done watching All the Queen's Men, Season 4, Episode 11, Smoke and Mirrors. And guys, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, but is All the Queen's Men falling off just a bit? Now, this episode was good, but again, it wasn't great. And I just found myself saying that too about Episode 9 and Episode 10, right? So I'm like, what's going on here, right? It's just missing like a little something, right? Like, you know, when you're cooking something and you just need a pinch of salt, like something is missing. But as I get into this full recap, guys, I want you to think about which storyline from All the Queen's Men is your favorite, okay? What is keeping you watching All the Queen's Men? I mean, obviously, Madam's storyline is top tier. It's the best, right? We want to know if she's going to beat this trial, okay? But for me, my second favorite storyline is Fuego. I want to see how he avenges Sandra's death, and I want to see how it all ties back into Madam. And when he finds out that Madam was not involved, she was responsible for Sandra's death, then I want to see how Fuego is going to turn up and stand on business, okay? But before I get into this full recap, let me introduce myself. My name is Brandi, and I realize that you could be on any channel in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really do appreciate that. So before we get into things, please go ahead and like this video. And also subscribe to the channel if you do like watching TV show reviews and also movie reviews. So this episode opens up with trouble in her hotel room. She's laughing, giggling. She's on the bed. Looks like she's playing solitaire with cards, right? But she gets a knock at the door and she opens the door thinking it's her security detail bringing up her food, right? But lo and behold, it was Smoke dressed as a hotel worker, right? He comes in, he has a big cart of towels, right? And he's pretending as if he's just, hotel staff delivering clean towels to her room, right? She turns her back. He pulls out a big blicky, right? And before he knows it, though, 2 cops enter the room, right? Like, Trouble, we told you not to answer the door for anybody, right? Trouble's cussing the cops out just a little bit, like, listen, man, all right, my bad. Like, I'm not going to do it again, right? Smoke just leaves the towels and he goes on about his business, right? But it was such a close call, guys. Trouble seriously almost got murked for being a snitch, right? And I've said it before, I don't want to see Trouble go, right? I love watching Trouble. She is so entertaining to me. I know that she eventually has to get dealt with. They got to take her out, but I need just a few more episodes with Trouble, unless I need to know who they're going to replace Trouble with, okay? But again, she's such a fun character to watch, and I don't know who's going to take her place. Now, moving right along, we see the prosecutor in court sitting next to Davis, all right, Detective Davis. And Detective Davis is apparently showing her pictures of Casanova's dead body with the rat in his mouth, right? So the prosecutor is like, who would do such a thing? What type of person? And Detective Davis was like, it's not a person. Madam did this. She's responsible and she's a monster, right? Just then, Madam walks up to the 2 ladies. They stand up immediately. And Detective Davis starts blurting out immediately how Madam is responsible for Casanova's death, right? She even shows Madam a picture of his body with the rat in his mouth, right? Madam denies any involvement with Casanova's death, right? And she's like, listen, I don't know what he does in his free time. I don't know where you guys put rodents at in your spare time, but she is so funny. And can we just take a moment just to acknowledge Madam's beauty? Like, look at her. Flawless. Her makeup is always on point. Her locks, she has the best style in her locks, the best colors, highlights, everything. Like, Madam definitely keeps me watching All the Queen's Men. But nonetheless, the trial begins. I believe we're on day 2 or maybe day 3 by now, right? We see Lola on the stand and she's testifying against Madam, right? Mind you, Lola was playing 2 sides of the fence, right? Trying to be Madam's friend, but also working for the prosecution as well. So Lola tells her story about how Madam tortured her one time, had her hanging upside down. It was just torturing her, asking her a lot of questions, right? And she also mentioned how she found a lot of blood down in Madam's kill room. She admitted that she sprayed the luminol and the room lit up like Vegas, right? So she's up there snitching, getting belligerent too. Like, the judge is just trying to stop her, and Lola just keeps going like, she's a horrible person. You guys got it all mixed up. You need to lock her up immediately. Like, she's really like spiraling and losing her mind. I'm like, girl, do you know you about to get murked? You're really up there talking about Madam. She's right there. All you got to do is keep your mouth shut. Say, I don't know anything, right? I don't know if she was subpoenaed or if she voluntarily went up there to testify. I don't know the full story, but listen, they about to handle Lola, okay? Once she gets off the stand, right, Madam has a word with her in the hallway. Madam just tries to calm her down, like, listen, you did the right thing in a moment, right? You felt like you needed to go up there and talk, and you went up there and talked, right? Calm down. I'm not going to do anything to you, right? But later on in the episode, right, Madam tells Smoke, yo, you got to handle Lola for me, right? And I want you to have fun with this one. Make sure you have a good time, Smoke. So at the end of this episode, right, we see Smoke killing Lola in a very vulgar, gruesome way, right? He was on some Dexter type stuff, right? But even worse, right? Because Dexter has a certain method that he follows, right? But Smoke, he called her a pig. He made sure that she knew that she was a double crosser, and that's why she was being killed. And he was like, how do you like pigs? Like, what part of the pig do you like? I like to really make sure my pig is tender before I eat it, right? This is what I do to cook my pig, right? And she was like, I don't know what type of pig I like best. And he was like, listen, that's all you had to say up there on the stand. I don't know, right? You talking too much is what's about to get you killed, right? And then he proceeds to cut her stomach open, right? And he removes different body parts, including her intestines. And when he removes her intestines, right, he says, yeah, I like my chitlins with a side of potato salad. Oh my God, yo, Smoke is diabolical, right? Like, his kills be like epic, ridiculous though, right? Because let me tell you, right, let me back up. This kill looks so cheap though, right? When Lola was sitting there up on the table and they actually showed so much of like her stomach being cut and intestines being pulled out, it looks so fake to me. Like, it looks like something that you see in Spirit of Halloween. Now let's move on to Babyface, right? Are any of you guys super interested in Babyface's story? Like, comment down below, let me know. Like, for instance, I'm a little bit curious to see how Quincy is going to handle Babyface and vice versa, right? I wonder if Babyface is just going to come to the conclusion like, this is my son. Maybe I need to act like a father to him, right? Quincy is hurting. Like, he's doing a lot of things to hurt Babyface. Hurt people, right? So that's what he's doing to his father, right? He says something in one of the scenes in this show. He was like, yeah, I'm going to take you for everything you got. I'm going to let you know how it felt when I was growing up lonely with mom and when you weren't around, right? Like, he said that, like, he is out for revenge. So I am a little bit curious to see Quincy's end game and where he's going with all of this. But nonetheless, in this episode, we see that Quincy, he steals Babyface's barbershop appointment, right? Babyface walks into the barbershop and he's like, hey man, I had 11 o'clock. And then the barber was like, oh, he said that you couldn't make it to the appointment. Like, it was too early for you, right? They get into a little squabble right then and there, right? And then Babyface leaves, but they get into another squabble again at Club Eden. And Madam gets involved. She's like, oh, I'm glad you guys decided to work it out, right? Like, she don't want to hear all of that squabbling stuff. She's all about business, focus on making her money, right? So they're like, yeah, we understand each other perfectly. Now we're good. They're just saving face in front of Madam. Now let's talk about Doc. We see Doc, he's taking like a jog in the park and he runs into, her name is Naoma, I believe, right? She works for the prosecutor's office. And she says to her, with her little dingy self, she's so dingy, naive, and just innocent. She was like, do you think somebody spiked my drink at the bar? Like, somebody put something in my drink. Do you know anything about that? He's like, nah, man, I don't know. They don't be doing ish like that at Eden. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to look into it for you, right? And she's like, well, how are you going to let me know your findings, like what you find out? And he's like, well, put your number in my phone, right? So she puts her number into Doc's phone, right? But I'm like, where is this going to end up, right? And did she follow Doc? Like, how did these two just happen to see each other at the same time at the same park? Again, I think this is just one of those things that's a setup. Doc's probably going to call her, hook up with her, and something bad is going to happen all over again. I just wish these dancers were smarting up and no, Madam's under a lot of heat, right? We got to lay low. We can't make no mistakes right now. Like, Doc, why did you even take her number? And I hope that he doesn't call her, right? But we did see in the trailer of season 4B that it looks like Doc is going to hook up with Detective Davis again. So I'm curious to see what happens with that storyline too and how Detective Davis and Doc reconnect. All right, now let's talk about Fuego. Again, this is one of my favorite storylines in this show. Now, Fuego, we know that he's dead set on avenging his ex-girlfriend Sandra's death, right? So he finds out the two guys that were responsible for her death and torturing her actually before they actually killed her. So him and Big D, they pull up on the guys, they kidnap the two men, and now they're in Fuego's apartment, right? So they have the two men there. They had their mouths taped, they're tied up. Big D claims that he tied them up real good. But now they have to go to work, right? They cannot be late to Club Eden or Madam's gonna go off, right? So this is just another one of them things, like not too street smart, right? Like, so they're gonna leave the two men there tied up at Fuego's apartment, and they claim that they're gonna deal with them later. Now, two grown men that are killers, right? They killed your ex-girlfriend. You don't think they know how to get out of that rope? You don't think that they know how to figure out how to untie themselves? Like, come on, guys. And this is what I mean about this show is just ridiculous. Like, that is just the dumbest move. Like, Fuego, he strikes me as a pretty smart guy. To leave those two guys tied up in your apartment while you go to work. Come on, boy. What do you think is going to happen? Now, Dime's storyline. Oh my God. I really don't even feel like talking about this, but I have to talk about it in order to give you guys a proper recap. Dime's storyline is still going in circles, right? She's still acting very hormonal. She's going crazy on Amp, right? They were supposed to go to the gym. She doesn't want to go to the gym. She just wants to lay around on the couch. Then she accuses him of messing with somebody at the gym. And she's just, again, just acting very irate, very irritable. And she just has pregnancy symptoms, right? But again, move that storyline along or don't show us so many episodes with her in it. I love Dime. And I used to love her character, but now I'm like, okay, here we go again, right? So hopefully on episode 12, we move along. She figures out that she's pregnant. And then we start moving on to who's the daddy? Like, is it Amp? Or is it Big D? Let's go. Now, let me go back to Madam's trial for a minute, okay? To me, in my opinion, so far, it's not looking good for her, right? Again, they have a jury on a stand that's making up their own opinions based off what they're hearing the witnesses say, right? In fact, in the trial, they brought like a guillotine expert to the stand, right? And he demonstrated how that machine works that Madam had built that actually chops off people's heads, right? And you could hear the jury gasping, like it really touched them that how can this woman have contracted with this man to try to build this mechanism for her? Like, what would she need this for? Like, is she a real killer? Mind you, they're hearing Lola's testimony about all the blood in the basement. Now they're hearing about this machine that she has to behead people, right? They even had another young lady enter the stand that Madam had beat up at the club previously, okay? So again, just wanted to note that the trial is not looking good for Madam. Now let's talk Midnight. On this episode, Midnight finds out that Renee was recording him, right? And she actually threatens to tell the police about that incident if he doesn't agree to be with her. Like, Renee is giving psycho. Like, does she really want to be with Midnight? Or is she like a ploy that was sent from the prosecution, right? So we still got our eyes on Renee. Not sure what's going to happen, but at least now Midnight is up on game. And we see that this episode ends off with Club Eden getting robbed, right? We see some stick-up girls actually like robbing the whole joint, right? They're telling all of the customers, everybody, empty out your pockets, give us everything you got, right? Madam could hear things going on. She could hear all of the shots being fired, but Tommy is protecting her. Tommy's like, no, you can't go out there. I had to protect you, right? Madam is damn near fighting Tommy, trying to get out. She's like, those are my people out there. I got to get to them, right? But it ends off right there. The armed robbers are there, and Tommy is holding Madam behind in the basement, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that robbery. Like, is it a robbery or is it another setup? Like, we have to see what happens with that cliffhanger right there. But nonetheless, guys, let me know your thoughts on season 4B so far, right? We're 3 episodes into this season 4B, right? I mean, it's giving. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely going to finish out this season. It's good, but it's not great as it used to be, and it makes me a little bit sad, right? But nonetheless, comment down below and turn your notifications on for the next recap. I will see you on the next video. Peace.